Welcome back to our chicken coop chronicles. Remember last video we showed you how we went to go retrieve this secondhand coop from my brother-in-law's or my sister's husband's parents, but it just was not savable. It ended up turning into a giant demo because all put together by hammer and nails. So we decided to reassess the situation. We have the girls in their tractor, but they desperately need a coop to sleep at night now. So my brother-in-law cleared this whole space and area, brought in a bunch of gravel and laid that out with the tractor. And here Gabe is using steel tamper to make sure it's all flat and level, getting ready for the base foundation, of which Jord is using some of his uncle's father's old concrete forms or foundation forms that we had laying around. We did have to get those foundation blocks and then plywood as well to create the floor. But we also had some leftover insulation, and they're just putting the caulking in and then adding the plywood on top because being Canadian winters, you need to really make sure these coops are nice and insulated. So this is what the base of the floor looks like. We did an 8x12 in preparation in case we ever wanted to have up to like 25 chickens. And then we used the rest of those concrete forms to add walls and a roof. We did have to buy some extra 2x4s because we didn't have enough, but essentially this is what it looks like on the inside. And then Jord went to an old shed, an old hen cabin that we have in the back of the property, and salvaged these windows and actually ended up using his window cutters to cut smaller shapes and make them more symmetrical and clean them off. And here he is creating our custom coop windows, which I don't even know how he does all this stuff, but he's extremely talented, and clearly it's very handy for us to have him help us with all these things. So here he is creating our custom windows, and this is what it ended up looking like. We did 4 of them because natural daylight is very essential, and they just look amazing. So we're putting on a salvaged door from one of the old demos of the house for the coop, and then he is adding a layer of paint just to clean up the walls on the inside. And then we decided to do a vinyl flooring. It's just one long piece just because when we clean out all the shavings, I think it's easier to really disinfect the floors and make sure it's non-porous like wood would be. And here's kind of like what the infrastructure looks like. There's some ventilation with some hardware cloth, which we're gonna cover up for the winter, so you have the option to open and close. And we decided to create a little roosting raised bed, of which he's smoothing out the edges and going to be adding a little lip and a layer which will catch the construction sand. So we wanted to put some construction sand there so it kind of acts like a poop and scoop, because the chickens poop a lot where they sleep. So we will put some roosting bars up there, and this is kind of what the stage is at now with vinyl floors. Those are the roosting bars. Jord also made this custom little ramp and ladder with leftover materials. And then, of course, we'll cover all the little tiny holes and stuff come the winter, but it's just extra insulation for now. And those 2x4s come out so we can clean them off easily. They just pop right off. So here's us laying down some of the all-purpose construction sand for their little sleeping area. And then we're going to put some pine shavings. Eventually, some will turn into hemp shavings for the base and the floor. So this is where we're at now. The girls are just outside foraging and free-ranging. We still have a little bit left to do, like add the nesting boxes and the automatic door and an actual run for them. But let us know if you want to see how we first introduced them.